Rainbow children. They are the embodiment of our divinity and the example of our potential. The rainbow children have never lived on this planet before, and they are going straight to the crystal children as their mom and dads. There again, they're referring to the crystal scouts, who are probably in their early to mid-20s. These children are entirely fearless of everybody, and they are all about service. These children are only here to give, and rainbow children are already at their peak. So they're already at that evolved state. One other thing I wanted to mention about particularly about the indigos and crystals, there is scientific proof that these people, not just children again, have 2 extra genes in their makeup, and that allows them to see and feel more. So it's already being proven with the DNA. Now I guess I'd like to open it up if anybody has any stories they'd like to share, or examples of, you know, my kid or my niece or nephew is really different than my kids were, or does anybody have any examples they'd like to share?
Snuggled under my leg. I'm a little old though, aren't I, Carol?
It's from 2010, so the ages are pretty accurate to now.
I did some scouts that go way back into like the 50s and 60s, the people being born then. Because I wondered too, but after doing research on the light workers, you see a lot of similarities where between the indigos and the light workers. So if you are a little older, that sometimes you realize that you may be a light worker, and then your children, indigo or indigo scouts, or you know, while you're driving to kind of fill in that information. My daughter loves to listen to the angel therapies, and I mean, listen to Doreen Virtue talk about the rainbow children and crystal children.
We listened to it on the way here.
I think it helps them if you can get these at the libraries. It even help your kids kind of identify and feel like, okay, this is good. This is me, and I'm you know, this is my purpose, and I feel good about it. Instead of, like you said, some of the labels where the teachers are, because it was the same thing. They wanted us to medicate Riley, and found that it's just we tried just because the teacher requested it.
Okay.
And
for an Easter present, they got us like these angel card things. So like you could read it and see what it was about. It's like what the angels wanted you to pick.
Learn now to be an observer. You don't have to emotionally connect to everything that's going on. In fact, you need to try and feel that out, because you can feel everything that's going on in the circle, what everyone's feeling and beyond. So just keep it here and be the observer. You don't have to react. And that's actually, you know, been beautiful for my teaching, because it helps me to understand. I can see in them, you know, the potential they don't see, and I don't react to their stuff.
I have to do Doreen's things too with earth angels in different realms, and how our soul identifies with that. There definitely can be overlap, and actually I have permission to say this too about my daughter Melissa. I think she's down there. She carries a lot of the indigo traits, but then sometimes I wonder if that's behavioral from me raising her and homeschooling her, but yet I see a lot of the crystals, so I wonder if that will develop more as she grows into adulthood and is away from me more. But you can definitely see overlap, and it's very comforting, I think, especially for an indigo who does not feel like they fit in mainstream at all and can wonder what's wrong with me, why can't I be normal, to find these light worker groups online or message boards and that to not feel so alone and isolated.
And anywhere. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can fit in anywhere, or you can feel like you don't fit fit in anywhere. So keep that in mind.
What were the ages of the
Information was coming out, and I thought because I was so indigo, that's what she would be, but she carries a lot of the indigo too when she's 15.
I was told that with work, that somebody who's not in indigo or crystal could actually work up to the point. Is that just that their aura would be indigo or crystal, or does something genetically change in
Overall,
them?
we,
Or?
as a society in a whole, we are all evolving to those points. So they really are the forerunners. All of them are. Either, like through the trailblazing or just the way showing of just the way that they are being. But these terms of indigo, crystal, and rainbow is referring to the aura. And so as we purify and can change ourselves within, I would assume any of our auras can change.
Indigo child or indigo being, it's usually the outline is right on the outer edge is the indigo, along with the golden aura. And with a crystal, it's more like if you blow a bubble and look at it in the sun, there's no definition. Is that how you would see
Yeah, and then the purple and the blue of the indigo color is going to refer to the third eye, and that's why they have so much of the psychic vision. And knowing and reading people very, very quickly, and actually having a very low tolerance for those lower ethics and integrity.
And the rainbow kids are the spoon benders. The newest ones in
Yeah.
are, you hear about them down in Mexico, these little kids that just look at a spoon and it bends. They don't have to take classes like we would for weekends. They just look at a spoon and it bends. And so they have no time to wait. They're ready. So if you hear about the spoon bending, that's the rainbow kids. Walking through walls. You've seen the movie. What's the movie with that going on? What's the latest, that movie that's out, Men Who Stare at Goats? The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Okay.
They have to practice walking through walls, and they hit a lot of them. Kids just say, what's the big deal? Walk. So, it's happening.
Yeah, they can have a lot of the wizard type energy and metaphysical interest already. They, like I said, they come with it. There's really no evolving there. They have it within them.
So as parents, it's up to us to allow this. Does that make sense? To allow and to do as many natural things as we can instead of, the medication is something that sometimes we have to try, like you said, right? And yet these kids play out there on the web. So when they're in school, if that makes sense, and the teacher says, Jimmy, and he pops back in his seat, he's literally popped back in his seat. He was out there really having fun, and then the teacher wants him to pay attention here on Earth, and they're like, what? So if we, as parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles and advocates of children, just allow them to be who they are in a loving, unconditional, loving space, the better they'll serve us. They're our answers right now. Make sense?
And it's not to say that there is no ADD or no ADHD. It's just that they're saying that they feel like they have to diagnose some of these and with it, and they're really not. It's just like the diagnoses are coming in too large a numbers, and
They don't know what to do with them.
right. They have to really, give it some diagnosis.
So what I say to my clients anyway, is there's 26 letters in the alphabet. They've picked ADD or ADHD. Pick 3 new ones. Right? JOYLOVE. Go ahead. I'll give you permission.
The
Hey?
crystal kids,
right?
they can be diagnosed with the autism, and Doreen always says too that they're autistic, the AWE, that we need to start looking at them like that because they're really not fitting the characteristics of autism of being withdrawn. The crystal kids are very out there, loving, sociable, so they are definitely being misdiagnosed.
So to how she got where she is.
Oh, okay. Well, I talked a little bit about Melissa. That's my husband Tracy down there with her too. This girl, I have just let her go with what she wants to go with. She's been homeschooled her whole life, except for one semester she did go to school, and decided she wanted to wrap up early, so she, for me anyway. She's graduated this fall. She's taking online classes and in her equine management. She's a certified trick trainer, and I just let her go with the horses. My husband and I are not horse people, but when she was 12, she wanted to go work at a horse farm, and so with homeschooling, it was easy to have that flexibility, and so we just let her go, and she's discovered her purpose. I think very luckily at a young age, and just letting her follow her dream. So, if anyone wants to go down there, we've mowed around there. If any of the kids or anybody wants to get closer, we can do that. Otherwise,